Hi, this is Jim from Slick Cyber Systems. I'm here with Steve and Chris. We're talking today about benefits of centralized IT management for SMB, small medium business. I guess first thing to discuss is what is our definition, not the industry's definition, but our definition of a small medium business. Steve, you want to carry on for that one a little bit?
I think a small business to us is anywhere between 1 to, let's say, 200, 250. Maybe up to 500. But after that, your medium business, which probably takes from about 500 to about 2,000.
You're talking about users or endpoints, or a little both?
Endpoints. Devices.
Okay.
Could be any device.
Okay. All right.
And when you get into that medium, that higher medium, like in the 1,000 point, you're looking at putting someone on site.
Yeah, having people there. I think my view of it was a little bit shy of that, a little less than that, but I mean, it's okay. It's, we each have our own general thought process of, what is the small, but, I definitely, obviously the one up to.
You can't base it off of dollar value.
It's got to be endpoints. For an MSP, we have to look at MSP points. We have to look at endpoints. MSP points for endpoints.
So anybody who's not in and not aware, what are you breaking down as an endpoint?
A computer, a device.
Nerd words again.
A device. An endpoint is a device, and that could be, a desktop, a laptop. It's something. It's a computer that somebody's using. It's servers. I treat that more as infrastructure, but endpoints in general is
still an endpoint to us.
It is, generically speaking, but
I think he's talking about users.
We're talking about users at this point,
And depending on the company, you can even add in your printers, because you get enough printers, they're a pain in the butt.
A nightmare. The bane of our existence, by the way, any MSP's existence is a printer. Just saying.
I don't know that one. In 2025, I'm starting to think it's multi-factor. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have a two-way tie in 2025. But all right. So now that we've kind of defined that, what's the benefits of centralizing the IT management? I mean, if you let's just peel back and just say small business at this point, right? Efficiency, absolutely.
Cost
savings, because if you didn't have centralized, well, let's just say you wanted centralized IT management and you did not have an employee on site, you'd have to get one. You'd have to pay a full-time employee to come in there. Then you'd have to buy all the tools that they need to be able to centrally manage all these devices. Now, again, for 3 or 4 or 5 devices, that's not practical. When you start talking, 25, 50, 100, 200 devices, that they're going to have some type of management to understand what's going on with their machines day in, day out for a multitude of reasons.
You just don't even have the capacity to view what you're doing or what's on your network.
Right.
At minimum.
Which is dangerous.
You don't get a 10,000 foot view of your environment. And which a centralized dashboard can give you. You can say,
And you can't even really drill down, Steve, because there's nothing to drill down to. The only thing they can do is walk up to the computer and go, oh, well, it's doing this.
Or you log in each one individually. Oh, is it running? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Is it protected? I think so.
Yeah, you can't see unification of what software you have out there.
So the visualization of what your environment has from a security standpoint, your security footprint, how about the health of the machines?
Yeah.
So I know when we manage things, it's obviously centralized IT management. Whether it's 2 or 3 computers, or it doesn't matter to us, because you're just farming it out to us. You pay for what you pay for what you need. Mm-hmm. I almost wanted to do that commercial thing there for a minute, but at least then you've got a team looking at your environment all the time. I mean, what if you start getting smart errors on a hard drive, and a smart error basically is the hard drive has some code in there that says, okay, I'm going to fail soon. if you have, one of our agents on there, on the machine, a piece of software, yeah, it'll flag and say, hey, you've got an impending drive failure here. And now you can proactively fix that, as opposed to, okay, this might be the VP of sales machine and he's in Tokyo, you know what I mean? Or somewhere else, in the world, and then all of a sudden down. So it gives you the visibility, in my opinion, of your hardware. It gives you the ability to centralize your patch management structures. So from a security standpoint, you're patching to know, is your antivirus up to date? Is your EDR signatures, is everything up to date?
Well, it also gives you the ability to isolate machines, especially from ransomware and stuff like that.
True, absolutely. Quickly. Very efficiently and very quickly. And not chances are, we will pick it up before the end user realizes what they have. So with the tools that we use, for example, it's going to flag that. It's going to see a couple of things happen and then go isolate, and that's kind of it.
I think there's a piece of it we discussed previously in other videos too, which is user management on that end of it too. By centralizing it, you can kind of quickly shut it down for somebody on the network, just so that user they don't access to nothing.
Oh, okay. So an offboarding situation, yeah. So an offboarding situation, absolutely. Even an onboarding situation.
Yeah, it turns them on very quickly.
We can get them, and it's done the same way every time. Very methodically. Everything's documented. It comes back down to, in my opinion, if you don't centralize IT management, especially in today's world, with all the cybersecurity nightmares and garbage that we have going on.
What do you think the minimum quantity of devices you would need to actually start thinking about
doing it yourself?
No, start centralizing that stuff.
As if, in other words, for the company internally. So doing it themselves.
Yes.
I would say at that point you've got to have at least
5 or 6,
250 to 600, and I'm saying if you wanted to do it yourself, internally. Yeah, I thought that was a question. I'd say, about 5 plus 100, because the cost of the hardware and software and tools to be able to run that, it's expensive. It's very expensive. And then you have the learning curve. You have to learn it all. I mean,
still do your job.
When the MSP already knows it.
Yeah.
So, as far as an MSP doing it for you, that could be 1-2 machines. There's no limit to that. At least, then you've got an eye in the sky, making sure everything's running smooth and there's no surprises.
Yep.
That's kind of the way I look at it. I'm a business owner. I don't like surprises at all. Not those kind of surprises. I mean, if somebody drops, a massive sale off at our front door, okay, cool. That's a good surprise. That's about the only surprise I like in business. So, it's just kind of the way it is. I mean, I think it is the right thing for any business size, no matter what. I don't care if SMB or even large and enterprise. You need to have, that 10,000, 5,000, 1,000 foot view, right on down and know what your environment is doing, how it's living, how it's breathing, and just have your finger on the pulse. Again, if nothing else from a cybersecurity standpoint, but with everything else looking at it, now all the machines are done the same way. There's no surprises in the environment.
I think if you liken it to something along the lines of, if you have a facility, your facility has facilities manager, and they have systems to track what's going on with the machines and the different systems that if you manufacture things.
Sure.
So very similarly, you need to know what your IT infrastructure is doing for those that aren't thinking of it that way.
And chances are a good chunk of those other facilities pieces are tied in IT anyway.
So
or could be tied in IT.
So if you don't have that visibility, you lose. You can lose big time.
Like every company should be looking, as part of their DR plan, right? Their business continuity plan. They should be looking at, okay, how much do I lose in the course of an hour or a day, a week, if I can't do what we do? I can't do what I do, right? And I think that's the big thing is, what's your threshold of pain? Is your threshold of pain an hour? Can you afford to be down a month? Well, if you can, then maybe it's not such a big deal to you. But
Yeah.
you know, if we're talking hours here, or worst case, days, yeah, you better have some.
You better have a plan.
Yeah, you better have a plan. So, okay. Any other comments to the whole thing for centralized management? Okay. Again,
need it. That's about it.
You need it. I'm Jim, Slick Cyber Systems. Chris, Steve. We are doing obviously a video series, and this is one of many that we've done already, and there will be many, many, many more to come. And hopefully you find it interesting. And if you have any questions about it, you can call us at 570-215-8888 or reach us on the web, slickcybersystems.com. And there's all kinds of ways on that website to get in touch with us, whether it's email form or
chat.
Our phone number's on there, chat. Yeah, we've got all kinds of goodies. So give us a shout. We'll be glad to help you figure out what's going on and how to rein this in. And by the way, it is less money than you probably think it is. So
yeah.
Don't be afraid of the dark. Just understand what's in the dark, before you walk into the room. Turn on the light. Okay, have a great day. Talk to you in the next video. If you find this content helpful, please like the video, subscribe, and share with your friends and your colleagues. Thank you.